feel like I should be singing or something. Here it is. Thank you. What is it? Oh, just throw them in my hand back there. This is my lovely model again, who's just taken off all her makeup again, because we're starting from scratch. So I'm actually going to start off with a little bit of primer. Oh, my primer has gone missing. I don't know where I put it.
Do you need a primer?
Yeah, I think I had it. I just don't. Oh.
Go on, I'll get here.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to start off. Do you need a bit of moisturizer, do you think? Do you feel you really need it? Alright, well I just jumped in with the primer. So I always like to start off with a primer because it creates that barrier between your skin and your makeup, and it's going to help it last longer because of that. So if you have like oily skin and you're worried about the oils coming through and then messing up your makeup, definitely try using a primer. It also works for people who have dry skin, so just get one that's going to match your skin. If you have dry skin, it's just going to make sure that those kind of dry flakes don't kind of flake up and irritate your skin, and it's just going to keep it that kind of dewiness. Yeah, so I'm going to start with, do I need a fresh brush? Where did I put it? I'm actually going to go ahead and apply with the F20, which is one of my favorite brushes ever. And you actually use your fingertips, obviously. But I'm just going to start by prepping the skin. So I've got my primer on here, and I'm just swirling this on here. Kind of in the same way that we're going to do the foundation. Now, her skin is flawless. She doesn't even need a primer. But you can just start from the T-zone and work out. Just helps it last a little bit longer. Don't be afraid to go over like everything, you know? You don't have to just stick it to the skin, you can just like blend it over completely. And now I'm going to start applying our foundation, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very thin layer of foundation, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do our contour. Now the reason I'm just applying a very even thin layer of foundation is because I'm using cream contour and I don't want to be doing too much on the skin. So I'm just going to even out the skin very lightly just to start off with. Then we jump onto the eyes and we'll come back to the skin later. So we're pretty much primed. We're going to mix up the right shade for our skin. So the best thing to do is to actually have a look at your neck and the tones within your body when you're picking out the right foundation. This palette here can literally just mix and match depending on the season, depending on whether you're wearing fake tan or you're not wearing fake tan, and you can just match it up depending on what you need. So we have kind of a yellowish tone in the body, so I'm going to kind of mimic that on the skin as well. And I want to kind of counteract any of this redness, which is literally just because we use cleanser just to remove the makeup. So it's going to calm itself down, but I'm going to use a little bit of yellow mixed up with a little bit of this kind of neutral color here just to even out her skin. So looking at my brush again. So I'm just going to mix these up. And I always like to start from the center of my face and work outwards because we need the most coverage right in here. And then you can literally stipple this on and blend it out. So a stippling motion is literally a pressing motion, and this is what these are really awesome for. So if you have the F20, F22, any of the F20 range, these are great for stippling, and they work for most skin types. Stippling motion, as you can see those little dots that it's kind of created? I don't know if the people at the back can, but it's like little pixels, and you're just going to keep stippling it on there, and then you get this beautiful, flawless kind of finish. My mic's going a bit funny. Is that okay? No?
Yeah.
Is it gone off again? Okay. So I'm going to stipple this on, just like this. If you have really awesome skin, you want a really sheer coverage, blend. Like this little swirling motion literally works for mineral products, or if you're using like a liquid and you just want to buff it really into the skin. If you have gorgeous skin, play up on it. If you want full coverage, stipple. And when I used to have my acne problems, I used this brush every single time, and people never even knew that I had acne because I would just stipple on the makeup, cover up everything. And a lot of people think that your foundation, should be really, really heavy, and it actually shouldn't. It should just be there for, evening out the skin tone. So a lot of the time when I had my acne, I would start off with using some kind of a base, like a cream, green primer, or maybe a yellow. Greens are great if you're on the paler side. So if you need to cover up redness on your skin, like acne or rosacea, you can use a green, or you can use the yellow if you have kind of slightly warmer skin but you still have that kind of redness in there, and that works really great. So you can apply that first. You can even buy primers that are that kind of color. Apply that first, and then you can stipple over the top of it. It doesn't disturb it because you're stippling, so you're just literally pressing in the product. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of mixing them, and I'm mixing them on the skin. But if you're doing it for eyeshadow and you're mixing up your eyeshadow, whatever you place down, like whatever you pick up last, is what's going to be underneath. So if you wanted to say a shimmer, but you're using a matte first, dab in the matte, then dab in the shimmer. The shimmer goes on first, and then the matte goes over the top, and that'll just tone down the shimmer for you. Or you can do it in reverse if you want to really highlight it. But I'm mixing it on the skin. Going to go over the eyes as well, just to give it a nice blank canvas to work on. And up towards the hairline. Basically, I would like to start coverage here, really blend it out, so that by the time you get out towards the hairline, it is basically non-existent. And you can then just blend it down your neck very slightly. And that just, once again, creates that seamless effect. Let's turn your head this way. Our little tip for anyone who's doing this for a special occasion and wants to have their hair up, put a little bit of foundation on your ears. Don't forget to kind of just dab very slightly across the ears, just so you don't get that kind of, like, oh, there's a telltale sign that you have foundation on your face and not anywhere else. Especially if you're changing the color. Say if you're like wearing fake tan on your body but not on your face, make sure you apply a little bit onto the ears. Also, for most brides, they get kind of red ears, because they're like talking and laughing and emotional and stuff, and putting a little bit of foundation on there can really help. So that's just a really even base. It's not full coverage or anything like that. It's just a nice even base. Now I'm going to move on to the eyes. So I'm just going to use whatever's left over on here just to lightly go over the eyes. And then I'm just going to jump in with my two creams. And I love using creams and then powders over the top. It intensifies them, it makes them last longer, and it just gives this beautiful effect. So I'm going to use these two Scandalize kind of like cream eyeshadows by Ribble. They're actually just down there. I just picked these up. I'm going to use a kind of a shimmery champagne color. Her eyes are this gorgeous like light blue, and gold really bring them out and just make them nicely pop. If you have brown eyes like me, you might want to choose something with maybe a navy tone instead of a black, because that's what I'm using on her, the black, because I think black and blue just go really well together. But if you have brown eyes, go for something like a little navy, and it just subtly brings out the color in your eyes. It's the same if you have sort of a kind of a greeny kind of color. You want to go for maybe a little bit of a purpley shade in this, or you can use a purple over the top. It's totally up to yourself. I'm going to start off with this champagne, working all across the lid. So right up to kind of that crease area, which is basically when you have your eyes open, that crease, right up towards that. Always start in that inner corner. You want the inner corner to have the most of this, because I really want to brighten up that inner corner. And then I'm just blending it outwards. I'm going to do kind of a cat eye effect on the eyes today, okay? And what that will do is just kind of draw the eyes outwards. It's kind of a modernish thing to do, very Kim Kardashian, sort of the, Jenner sisters as well, like to do that kind of look. And it literally is great for people who have close set eyes. So the way that you tell whether you have basic, close set, or wide set eyes is to actually measure your eyes. So use your thumb and your finger, measure your eye like this, and then put it right in here. Now if you have balanced eyes, you will just touch your tear duct. If you have extra space, it means your eyes are spaced further apart. And if you, I'm just looking at the food, and if you poke yourself in the eye, it actually means that your eyes are close set. So if you have that highlight in there, it's just going to push the eyes further apart. So I'm just going to do this. Her eye shape is very basic, so we don't have to worry about how much we highlight or anything like that. And then I'm going to use the darker color, which is black or navy or like a dark purple if you wanted to. And I'm going to create this V shape, okay? So I'm drawing a V on that outer edge like this. So you're lifting it upwards towards the brows, drawing it right up from the lash line. I'll do it on this side so you guys can see. Drawing right up from the lash line to the outer corner, and then drawing from just the outer third of the crease, just to create like a V. Like a V like that way. Now I'm going to start blending this. So, where did I put all my blending brushes? Right in here. There's so many different types of blending brushes that we have, and it really depends on what eye shape and how much space you have to work with. So if you have quite large eyes, you might want to try the E25, and if you have sort of like a smaller eye shape than her, you can try this one, which is slightly more tapered. This is the 42, it's one of our newer ones, and it's really great for people with really small eyes and just have no space to really work with. Her eyes are like a medium size, so I'm going to try the E41, and this is gorgeous. It also has another little flat brush on the other end, so you kind of get two brushes in one. So I'm going to start blending this really softly. I like to blend the black in, just to soften it very slightly, because I'm going to use eyeshadows in a second. This is just to kind of softly blend this out. And what I'm doing is this windscreen wiper motion, just over and back, like this, over and back, into the crease, okay? Now, important thing is, see where I'm placing my hand? I have the brush quite far down onto its actual handle. If you want a lot of detail or you want to be quite harsh, you're going to hold it like this. See how the difference is? It's much softer the further you hold it back. So I'm just very lightly blending that. Now we're going to go in with some eyeshadows. So I actually started with this one here. No, it's this one. So I'm going to start off with a bronzy kind of shade for blending in the crease. The important thing is that you're kind of creating a gradient effect. So your darkness is right in the crease, right where your eyes are closing, just like right in here. And then you can softly blend it outwards to get a little bit lighter and lighter and lighter until you get to your brows where you want to place your highlight. So this color that I'm choosing here, this one right here, is sort of this kind of a bronzy color. Like, you can literally use your bronzer. So just tapping that off, don't want too much on there. I'm going to start right in the outer corner. Always start your dark colors. If you're doing this kind of look, start your dark colors in the outer corner, blend in. Start your light colors from the inner corner and blend out. So I'm just going to get that right in there, just by pressing and swirling in really small motions, and then I can start to blend. This is also a matte color. We already have a lot of shimmer on there, so I'm not going to apply like a shimmer in the crease. It would just be too over the top. Oh, that's really nice. So I'm keeping it quite light and just blending all back. Build this color up. You know, don't apply too much. It's so much easier to keep building. It's impossible to try and take some away. So just keep applying a little bit at a time, blending that black out, working it right into that crease. Now you can never overblend. literally just keep blending, 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 blending. That's why it's so important to get a really good blending brush, because it just changes, just straight away, it changes the way your eyes and your eye makeup appears just by getting a really good blending brush. Now, I'm going to switch and I'm going to use the flat side of this brush, okay? I'm going to go in with this absolutely gorgeous bronzy tone. So it's just this bronzy tone right here. Once again, we're sticking to those kind of goldeny, bronzy, gold shades because of our eye color. This also works on anybody's eyes. Like, I love these kind of colors on greens, browns, it doesn't really matter. But for her especially, it's going to really make her eyes pop. So I'm going to close your eyes for me. And I'm going to fill in that V with this color. So I'm kind of blending into that black V. And I'm just keeping this on the outer third. I always break the eyes into 3 separate parts. So you have the inner third, where you mostly highlight. You have the center, where you have that kind of your midish kind of colors. And then you have the outer part, which is where you have your darkest colors. So picking up a little bit more of that. Doing it again on the other side. So filling in that V shape. And that's why I love using flat brushes, because you can be very precise where you want to place it. And I'm going to take the other side and just softly blend it, just very lightly. I don't want it to really go anywhere. I just want to really softly blend it out. Now, I'm keeping the same brush. And the reason I'm using the same brush is because I want all the eyeshadows to sort of blend together. So I'm keeping with that same brush. I'm going to go in with a little bit of this gold. So you guys can see it's quite a yellowy kind of goldy shade. Once again, it's going to bring out her eyes. And this is going to go in that center part. So it's going to match up right where that bronze is. And it's just going to go on that inner third. And then once you've kind of placed it down there, then you can just slightly wipe it across and blend it in to the bronze. So this is going over like right in that center of the lid. And then just slightly blend it into that bronze so we have a nice grading effect. Don't forget to get right by those lashes and blend it out. I'm not blending it inwards, okay? I want to blend it into the bronze, so I'm blending it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a slightly lighter color. So we're still keeping in that same theme of those kind of colors. This is a champagne. So I'm using the same brush again. Just going to make sure there's not too much gold on there, because I don't want it to be too dark. I'm going to pick up some of that. Now when you're picking up with a flat brush, you want to just press it. Press and kind of wiggle a little bit just to pick it up. Tap off any excess if there is any. And then this is going to go from the inner corner and blend over to the gold. So pick up a little bit more. Inner corner and blend. Keeping the brush quite flat. Like I'm not going on like this. I'm keeping it flat and working across. Always use your little pinky just for a little bit of support. Like if I was doing this on myself, like I would do this. You know, like I'd use my pinky just to keep my hand steady, because not everyone has like perfectly steady hands. And then I'm going to blend it into that gold. Now just use your blending brush just to soften the edge of everything. So you're not blending it out and it's not moving or anything. You're just softly blending it. Remember to leave a little gap just underneath those brows, because we're going to apply some highlighter there in a second. So now we have that kind of grading effect, like it goes light, medium, dark. You just want to show the girls over there. Like light, medium, and dark. So now I'm going to do a little bit of the brows. But first of all, one thing that I